Welcome to Podiatry Unfiltered. This is the podcast where we skip the sugarcoating and talk honestly about what it takes to survive and thrive as an independent podiatrist today. Hi guys, welcome back to Podiatry Unfiltered. I'm Michele McGowan, and this is episode 12. I want to get right into it. I want to share with you guys philosophy that really helped me and my practice. And it was after I read a book called 10X is Easier Than 2X. I did it a while ago, and I'm not a self-help junkie. I don't think I'm not like a big vision board person. Maybe that'll change over time. But this book really did help change my mindset, and it made my practice so much better after implementing some of these ideas. I think a lot of doctors, not just podiatrists, this is not just podiatrists, I think a lot of doctors just get it wrong. And so I want to share this because I feel like it really did help me. And this is not a, hey, look at me, I'm making so much more money. I'm helping my patients. I'm offering things that other doctors don't, maybe because they can't. So I just want to start there. And I promise you, like I'm in different Facebook groups and sometimes I feel people get a little angry. Oh, I don't want that. I do not want anyone else to tell me opt out of certain insurances or become direct care. I am not direct care. My practice is hybrid. I see some patients with that insurance. I have patients that have insurance we don't accept because we have dropped it and they pay us cash. And then we have people who don't have insurance. They own their own businesses and they pay us cash for these services. These people are out there. Again, I hate the term ideal patient avatar, but they're out there. I want to talk about the idea that completely did change my practice. And it's this concept. It's this concept from the book, 10X is Easier Than 2X. But I'm going to translate it in real life doctor, podiatrist context. And it does really apply to all doctors. It's not just podiatry it's not just a podiatry problem. Because of what I see every day at conferences and conversations on social media is that most podiatrists, a lot of doctors are chasing 2X. And it's actually making their lives worse. So what does this look like in medicine? What does this look like in podiatry? It sounds more, I just need more patients. I need another provider. I'll grind harder, I'll work a little harder, and now I'll make more money. So what happens? You go from 30 patients a day to 45, 50 patients a day. You go 4 days a week to 5 days a week. And now you're exhausted, your staff is overwhelmed, and you didn't double your profit. These are just facts because really the truth is 2X requires you to do more of what you're already doing. In podiatry, this is not the sexy part of podiatry. There's a lot of cool things we do in podiatry. And again, I'm not crapping on people's practices, but cutting toenails. So you'll add 10 extra diabetic foot care to your schedule. That's $420. That's what we charge for a cash ingrown toenail that comes in once. And again, I always talk about these are just schedule cloggers. But that kind of goes into if you're not already doing something that isn't highly profitable, doing more of the unprofitable things are going to leave you exhausted, tired. Your bank account is not going to look any better. You actually built a bigger problem. But here's what gets interesting. And I will tell anecdotally, I will say, I didn't have this capability to go 10X until I did change some of the things we do in our practice. And it wasn't cutting out diabetic foot care first. I did not cut diabetic foot care out of my practice until I actually added more value services that can help my patients better with their musculoskeletal problems, like the laser, like SoftWave, things that could be impactful to my patients. And then as I started to have proof of concept, when I started to realize, wow, these things are helping my patients and they're actually profitable for the practice. So I didn't 10X because I was like, all right, I'm just going to get rid of diabetic foot care and things are going to walk. I don't want to give that impression that you're going to get 10X by just getting rid of the crap. You have to be able to add things in. You want to add more value. You want to have more quality. You want to have that piece set before you get rid of the 2X. I do believe in that. You have to have something that's worth more before you get rid of that. So in order to 10X, X is completely different than what you're doing. And again, this isn't like a weird cult. This is a great book. I highly recommend listening to it on Audible. I say this all the time. I don't work that hard now. I don't work on Tuesdays. I don't work on Fridays. So the only special exceptions when I work those days of the week. And it's usually because I'm going out of town and I'm like, let's make a little bit more money before I leave. And also then you can see patients because you're not going to be there and they may need your care. So what 10X says is I'm not going to do more. I'm going to do it different. That means in medicine and in podiatry, instead of asking, how do I see more patients? You focus on the value for them and the value for you. Because really, if we're being honest, one patient can be a $60 and $60. If it's diabetic foot care, it's insurance, I'm being generous with that number. A $60 nail care visit, or it could be a $1,500 treatment plan where you're seeing somebody 6 times for a service that's going to make them better. It's the same patient, but different thinking. That's really what 10X is. I think the trap that most doctors and podiatrists get stuck in, what I call the volume trap. And you've heard me say this before. Volume really is the enemy. Your entire business model is built around insurance, low reimbursement, and high volume. So the only way to grow is to see more. This, we all know it. It leads to burnout, short visits, and poor patient experience. And honestly, average or below average outcomes. And some of you might get offended. You're like, oh no, I see 40 patients a day. Everybody's happy. Look at my Google reviews. No, you're not happy. Your patients are not happy to sit in your waiting room for an hour because you're running behind. And then you're not happy because you don't have time to explain your higher level patient experiences because you're rushed. And most podiatrists, they'll say, oh, you know what I'll do? I'll hire another podiatrist. I'll hire an MA to do some of my lower level work. And I'm going to tell you, no. I would tell you, I am such a believer in this because I'm saying that because patients are happy. I spend the time with them. I have these services for them. And I want to shout it to the roof from the rooftops. And we all should be doing that because it helps our patients, but it helps our profession as well. I'm going to say you don't need another doctor. You just need a different model. I was already implementing things like the 3D printed custom orthotics, and that really helped drive and push more value in my practice for me and my patients. I implemented. I started doing more lasers. I started to get more laser focused for myself and my practice on treatment plans that will help my patients. So I think those are the types of things I'm saying. Before you cut out your diabetic foot care, before you do that step, you need to add value to your practice. And some people are like, I don't want to pay for a machine. We got our value back very quickly. And again, it's not a brag. I want to share that with you because, and if a patient were to see this, I want them to know, yeah, I did that for them. And it has been great for me, but having people who have had Achilles tendonitis forever, plantar fasciitis forever, and now they're running marathons, I'm really happy with that. But you have to be able to add those things. There's regenerative medicine conferences. You can learn on your own too. There's resources out there. So I'm just putting that out there. Now's the time. You don't want to be left behind. That is for sure. So that kind of gets me back to what does 10X look like in a real practice? Really, let's make this real. 10X in podiatry, 10X in medicine is fewer patient, higher value care, better outcomes, and more time with each patient. This is probably the most common situation with podiatry. Instead of 40 patients a day at a $75 per patient, because that's what most podiatrists are at. That's profitable if you keep your overhead super low. So that's no MAs, no extra stuff, nothing. And we all know that. You have to know your numbers. You have to. And I knew my numbers. And I'm like, this is crap. I don't want to have a $75 per patient encounter and bust my butt and have nothing to show for it. But that 40 patient a day at $75 patient value, that's a real thing in podiatry. And my model, how we built it, is that we have 15 to 20 patients a day. Our patient value, like per patient value, is usually close to $250 a visit. They'll pay a treatment plan up front. You don't have to invent anything crazy. You just start with what works or what you believe in. For us, it was custom orthotics, but once we added laser therapy, SoftWave, the different regenerative medicine protocols, and just structured programs for our patients. I think the key is you're not selling. You stop selling visits and you start delivering solutions. And when you deliver solutions, that is the quality, not the quantity. It's the patient experience and them getting better that's going to 10x your practice. I think where most doctors struggle is because 10x really does force you to ask, what do I stop doing? And that's uncomfortable because it might mean doing less routine care, not chasing every insurance patient, not trying to be everything to everyone. And the reality is you can't build a 10x practice doing 2x activities. The doctors who are winning right now, they're not the busiest. They're the most intentional. I do talk to a lot of doctors who do a lot of things that I do, but sometimes I think they're a little full of it because they'll say, oh yeah, no, I'm still seeing 40 people a day. I have a hard time buying that you're seeing 40 people a day and still qualifying, like having that quality experience for your patients. You have to see less and do more for your patients. Add more for your patients. So how do you make this actionable? I want to help you make it actionable. One, identify your highest value services, which actually moves the needle. For us in the beginning, that was laser, and then SoftWave. And now we actually combine those and they're having fantastic results. Start packaging care, not visits. I'm not high pressure sales of my patients. I'm telling them, hey, we offer these services. I can get you better with these services. This is what we pay per visit. Or if you do the package, because it's going to be 6 treatments, this is the package price. And you're going to pay more if you do per visit. But if that works for your bank account, do that. I have the uncomfortable conversations with the patient. I just think because I'm trying to keep it as quality as possible, I don't leave the room. I talk to them. I tell them it's no, and if they're like, I'm not sure, I hand them I have brochures in the room, which people are big, oh, that's gauche. No, I hand them a brochure. I say, go home, look at our website, learn more, get a second opinion, and see what works for you. But our packaging, we do programs. We have a heel pain program. We have a neuropathy program. We have a nail fungus program. These are our big quality experiences for our patients. It's value for patients. It's value for us. That's what I'll say. And educate means this is where your in-room video, conversation, and demos matter. Because each time they're exposed to it, they understand more. If you're really trading time for money, you'll never be happy. Because you're going to have to continue to have to expend more of your time to make more money. You don't want to do that. I'm telling you, I hope somebody out there understands my sincerity in this. You could do fabulous. Probably in any medical specialty, but I'm a podiatrist. So I'm just saying in podiatry, we have these services. When people's feet hurt, they want to get better and they want to get better quicker. They want to be active. And it doesn't matter their age. We have people come in that are 89 and they're like, yeah, this really hurts. I want to keep walking. I know if I can't move, that's going to be the end of me. And those people are willing to. So you don't underestimate and don't make assumptions that a patient doesn't want it. I talk about these services with every patient. And I talk to them about, hey, if your knee ever hurts, I think go see somebody who does this type of stuff in that orthopedic world. And I try to refer them to somebody who does that. Because the more of us that are doing this stuff, the more of us that are actually legitimizing this, the more widely it'll be accepted. And then it's not going to be harder for you to feel like some weird outlier in your town. I don't care if I feel like an outlier. These services people have been doing for over 10 plus years. Tons of peer-reviewed literature on all the regenerative medicine things. So I highly recommend maybe educate yourself as well. But the pearl I have is stop filling your schedule with low value visits that block the higher value care. Patients want the higher value care. So if you're feeling stuck, if you're busy, but not where you want to be financially, you don't need to work harder. I'm so much happier right now, a year later, than March last year. I went to that conference because I was desperate. I wanted to make my practice better. I wanted to make my bank account better. And there's nothing wrong with that. You need to think differently because in podiatry, 10x is easier than 2x. I am living proof. But only if you're willing to stop doing what's not working. Sometimes you get stuck in that rut and you just keep doing the same stuff. And once you do that, you don't just build a better practice, you build a better life, not just for you, but also your patients. I'm Dr. Michele McGowan, a podiatrist, and I really just want to be an advocate for our profession. I think podiatry is one of those professions that is fantastic. I say this all the time. I love being a podiatrist. I love what I do. I love it so much more now. I have the time to do all the things. I have a lot of other things outside of podiatry that I enjoy, and I think I want that life for you too. So if you like this, or if this spoke to you in any way, share with a colleague, share with a friend, and I'll see you next time.